Älvdans is a Swedish word. It refers to the low-lying fog that rises and hangs in summer or autumn. Directly translated, it means elf dance or fairy dance, for it was once believed that the invisible folk danced along the meadows, and this was their mark on the world, fleeting, eerie, and glowing. Capricorn, welcome to your winter 2022-2023 shapeshift reading. We're looking at the shape you're shifting out of, the shape you're shifting into, and what that shapeshift looks and feels like for the winter season. I'm your reader, Amanda, although I've been going by Andy lately and loving that, so try it out if you want. I'm joined today by the Älvdansen Tarot by Araminta and Timothy Bilek. This deck was created using AI technology to contact the spirits of the Alvorna, the Swedish elves. And so that lore is present with us here today and those elven spirits as we look at your shapeshift for this winter. Okay, Cap. What is the shapeshift for Capricorn in Capricorn season? Happy birthday. I'm already seeing so much earth energy on the bottom of the deck. That's the Ace of Pentacles, Ace of Seeds, Four of Seeds. Okay. Shapeshift for Capricorn this winter. Oh, nice. Whoa. Okay. Let's look at this together. So right in the center here, you have the Magician. Yes, to this energy. This is the mage, you know, the wizard, the one who is able to create something, put the right elements together in the mixture to access the powers of the earth and beyond, to create something, to make something manifest, to make something concrete, to bring it into form. That is you, Capricorn. That's what you do. You take ideas and you make them happen. Love that for you in the center of this reading. And then you have the Daughter of Blades and the Six of Cups, initiation. Shifting out of the Daughter of Blades into initiation. It's this shift out of the mind and some sort of mental state into a more maybe emotional, intuitive experience with the water element that's present here. And specifically like the cup that holds and shapes the water. There's something about that. Okay, go with me. I'm getting like the difference between, because, okay, the Magician uses all four elements in the tarot. That's what they do. They use swords, cups, pentacles, wands. Those are the four elements. Those are the elements they work with. And I would also say like elements beyond our realm, like unseen ether maybe, bringing them all together to create. And so here we have this shift that needs to happen in the elements you are working with, transforming the sword into the cup. When I think of the blade, I think of a sharp edge that penetrates. When I think of water, it is permeable but impenetrable. Like I'm imagining a sword trying to cut through water and realizing how ludicrous it is to attempt such a thing, because water is just going to soak your sword, which will make it, turn it to rust if you don't dry it out. And I'm like imagining what happens when the sword cuts through water. It just like parts the molecules. You're not actually slicing anything. You're not able to, water is not formed enough where you could slice it with a knife and compartmentalize things, at least in its liquid form, which is how I'm seeing it here. So it's sort of like, take the energy that you have that wants to cut, wants to slice, is maybe a little bit of a sharper edge in your personality or in your mindset lately. And like, what actually wants to happen is to take those edges, that like anger or frustration or sharpness or discomfort, pain maybe even, that you've been experiencing is actually misplaced in as a blade. It wants to be the vessel, the cup that holds water. Take that penetrating edge impulse that's happening like mentally maybe, or in your like worldview or your perspective or your internal narrative, and change it to something that can hold water, which is softer, which is more fluid. Like, turn that edge into the actual infrastructure or like structure needed to hold all of your feelings and all of your intuitive capacity. What I get here with the Magician is that like, this is a misuse of the elements. If you want to channel something, the water will only come through if it has something, a vessel to go into. You know, I do want to mention the Nine of Cups is at the bottom of the deck and it says riches. Notice that this is cups, emotional riches, desires of the heart, abundance of pleasure. This is factoring in somehow here. A shift from the head to the heart, a shift from an edge to a softened fluidity, to a things have to be like this, or this was this, and I'm thinking about Mars in Gemini at the time of me doing this reading, and until January 12th of the new year, a very long Mars retrograde in Gemini, and Mars will remain in Gemini through the winter. So out of this sort of sharp, wielding your thoughts like blades, cutting energy, and into something softer, something fluid. I love that it says initiation. It's like bringing you back into the heart. An initiation is a passage. It is a learning. It is like a rite, ritual passage that everyone goes through at certain stages of their development. And there's something mentally, emotionally here. It's almost like the last piece of the puzzle, Capricorn, that needs to adjust before that Magician is fully in their power. Riches. You know what I mean? Ooh, the Fool under that. An initiation into how to get what you want with water, not with swords. With the heart, not with the head. I want to read a little. The Älvdansen guidebook zine is pretty awesome. So in this deck, instead of the Page, Knight, King, Queen, we have the descendants of each suit, which are named as Son, Daughter, Lord, Lady. So this, the one wielding the blade here is the Daughter of Blades. I'm going to read you a little bit about that. Let's see. So this is the watery part of air ruling from Virgo 21 to Libra 20. That part of the zodiac, that section of your chart, like what is there for you natally, what is transiting at the time that you are finding this reading between the end of Virgo and the end of Libra. You know, like Libra Mars folks, trining Mars and Gemini, hi, this reading's for you, you know? Maybe. Okay, a ghost, a keeper of family history, highly intelligent grudge holder. Yeah, yes. Capricorn, this sharp edge, it's like bitterness. Look at her. She's keeping that record of wrongs, that holding the book of grudges. Highly intelligent, but a ghost nonetheless. You know, it's like holding on to stuff that's old and letting it like, well, that's going in the book. Like, dang, don't be a bitter bee, you know? Like, you don't need that kind of bitterness held inside of you. And like, where does that come from? I just saw 1111. Like, where does that bitterness come from? Why is it being held in you? What's behind it? What's underneath of it? What are the fears? What are the angers? What are the injustices? Okay, Libra Mars, interesting. What are the injustices that eat at you and cut your brain up into a bunch of different knives? And maybe make you act out of those knives, Mars and Gemini. What have you learned this Mars retrograde since the end of October into mid-January? What has Mars retrograde in Gemini been teaching you about your anger, about your edginess? Highly intelligent grudge holder, a keeper of family history, a grudge history. Record of wrongs. Interesting. And then we're shifting out of that into initiation. Again, like just a softening, just an eyes off of everybody else and back onto yourself. Back onto how you feel. Okay, fine. This could totally be like understanding the feelings underneath of those edges that you have been expressing. Initiation, where are they coming from? Where are they initiating from within you? What are your thoughts and actions initiating from? Where are they coming from? And how is that contributing to or working against your work in the world, or what it is you're trying to build, or what it is you are trying to make into something? Magician, your power to affect the world around you, to manipulate the elements in your favor towards your will. Swords and cups, air and water need an adjustment in order for you to be in your full power. Let's read the Magician before we start really getting into this. In this deck, it's called the Magus. There were 3 stories. The first was that I was a god. That wasn't entirely true. The second was that I was the most important man in the world. That wasn't entirely true either. The third was that I was a killer. That was probably true. It was always hard to tell which was which. Killer, you know? Slice, 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 slice. The Magus is inquisitive, playful, and conversational. He keeps himself incredibly busy. This spirit is refreshingly direct, although he's easily distracted by his own fascinations and may try to rope you into those rather than answering your questions. The Magus is one of the few spirits who seem to have a sense of humor and more knowledge of modernity, a spirit to aid professional practitioners. This is why this feels related to your work or your professional life or your career in some way. Of course, like this guidebook may be referencing like professional practitioners of magic. But Capricorn, I would argue that whatever you are applying that energy to, you are using your magic, your inherent ability to work with the elements that you are given. And I think there's something out of whack here with the way your emotions and intuition is expressing through the sharpness, through edge. And like, yeah, this is a Mars reading. Mars is hot-headed, it is penetrating, it pierces, it shivs you real quick, you know, in and out, stabby. It's uncomfortable, but it's also like the prod, the fire under your butt that you need to take action. So obviously, like, Mars is not a bad thing necessarily, but there's some questions here about how you are going about doing what it is you want to do in the world. So we got to get into this now, Capricorn, and see if we can contact the magician here, the magus, and see if they have any more advice for you, any more specifics we can get about like your current situation and how these knives and cups are expressing in what it is you're trying to do in the world. So if this is resonating for you so far and you'd like to view the whole reading, you can join me in the shifting space. Click the link in the description box below to explore this online community devoted to using tarot and astrology to pinpoint the changes that are ready to happen in our lives and how we can go about making those shifts through the seasons. So if this sounds like something that would be supportive to you, you want to learn more about how we connect over there, we have community chat spaces, we have live meetings, we pull cards for each other. Check it out, link in the video description, and maybe I'll see you for the rest of this reading. Happy birthday, Cap.